we start with David Pasternak's game-winning goal Saturday night in overtime to beat the Leafs. Mazz, that was a big goal. That was a big goal.
You think?
Do you understand?
Oh, yeah, I understand.
You understand some plays are bigger than others, some moments are bigger than others?
Yes.
That was a big one.
Huge. Massive.
Explain.
So, look, just quickly on that point, at the end of the game, they showed they did a little list of Bruins overtime, Game 7 overtime winners in their history. I think there are 5 of them. Okay, now again, I don't need to tell you. The Bruins have been in existence 100 years.
Yeah, so I mean, Brad Park, Nathan Horton.
Bergeron.
Bergeron. I was going to try and do it myself.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
There was one other one in there that I don't remember. It's like
the
way
60s
back.
or 70s.
Yeah, even earlier than that.
Yeah.
But the basic point is this. That, what you saw Saturday night, happens once every 20 years on average. That's it. Once a generation, you get one of those in Bruins history. There aren't that many of those. And so it's the difference between everything. Between being completely flushed again or coming out, getting to the second round, and all of a sudden now I don't want to say you're playing with house money, but you're an underdog. The pressure's on the other guy next time. And so which starts tonight. Huge. Massive. Absolutely freaking massive. And I'll just add one small thing, because this one's been kind of grinding at me a little bit. And I say a little bit because something always grinds at me. Beer's got it right. Lindholm made the play.
You bet.
Pastrnak finished it. But Lindholm made the play. And I think that game was really, as much as the story was Pastrnak, the challenge by Jim Montgomery, all of that stuff, Lindholm was the player of the game. Absolutely.
Which means the game was closed out by 2 players who've had their heads firmly wedged up their asses in this series. That's the most shocking thing about it. It's not just Pastrnak. You're right, Mazz. It's Lindholm, too, who everyone else has rightfully been over. And McAvoy can wake up now, hopefully, in this second series. But I still can't believe it. 2 days later, the way that game was going, the way it almost ended in regulation, let's not forget that, where the puck almost trickles in with like 0.1 seconds left and I was about to have a heart attack. The second period alone, where Pastrnak, who was terrible in that second period, along with McAvoy, were 2 skating turnovers waiting to happen. Puck keeps going the other way. I tweeted at the time, as that period ended, if I'm Jeremy Swayman, I should get to club those 2 like seals in the locker room.
Oh!
They just kept falling all over themselves, and the puck kept going the other way, whiffing at it. Like they couldn't even, like the thing was made out of butter. It was mind-blowing how bad they played in that second period and that it didn't end up biting them in the ass. But that they won it, amazing. And I also don't think it's hyperbolic to say that's the defining goal so far of Pasternak's career. He's had other goals in the postseason. I heard someone mention, I think it was Joe Murray yesterday, too. You remember the 7-5 loss in Game 6 last year? He had 2 goals. You remember either of them?
Oh, sure. Of course I do.
See, kind of I don't, because they lost that game.
The one he went between the legs was one of the ballsiest goals I've ever seen in the playoffs.
All right, yeah.
But go ahead.
Now that you're refreshing me, but it ultimately didn't matter because they lost the game. This to me is the defining goal of his career. I really don't remember any other like this.
Massive. I mean, organization. So don't. These are all not quite literal, but just work with me. Organizational defining, legacy defining, job saving. I mean, so like what you do is, to know about the ramifications of a play or a game, is flip the result. If they had lost today, so what? Coach is fired. Fans want the whole thing blown up. Guys like Pastrnak, Lindholm, McAvoy, you sort of shakes your foundation on the most important players in the entire organization. Mm-hmm. Direction of the team. They're known as the biggest losers in sports or the biggest chokers in sports. First team, they would have been the first team in North American sports history to bowl back-to-back 3-1 leads. And that whole thing, and like that noose, that choker noose, that choker label, that thing that hangs over the organization. The cloud gets darker, the rope gets tighter. It defines more of who you are. You're chokers. You're losers. You did it again. And, jobs are... just think of the fallout if they lose that game. And that puck going in, that goal being scored, the clouds lift, at least for the time being. Let's see what happens here in the next 2 weeks. but a reprieve, Maz, a desperately needed reprieve for that organization, top to bottom.
Absolutely. Look, again, to call it a stay of execution.
It's a stay of execution is what it is.
It's something like that, though, again, because your point about the talent on the team is right. We would have looked at the whole thing and said, you got to do something here. You can't just keep trotting out the same crew. You got to improve up the middle at center. You might even have to think about trading one of the big pieces to improve it.
Well, and not that they would. I don't think they ever would. I'm just telling you the climate in the city. Of course. The climate in the city would be these guys will never win.
Right.
And maybe we'll be there in a week and a half's time. But so it's a reprieve stay of execution.
But again, it looked like, once Toronto went up 1-0, you thought that's it.
Oh, I did.
With the way they were playing,
yeah.
and again, the way the last three games have gone. Murray, and you already know this, until Pasternak scored, they did not have a lead in the final three games of the series.
Yeah.
They never led. They hadn't led since game 4. They were chasing
choking on it.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. He got bad choking just talking about it. They were chasing the whole time. The whole time. Their first period was good, obviously. But then after that, they were chasing again, and it was right back to where they were. And then all of a sudden, boom, they weren't chasing for long. When Lindholm scored, and that pass, ridiculous.
So isn't it nice? Because I don't think that was a bounce of the puck kind of overtime
Me
goal.
neither.
You know what I mean? It's like most overtimes end by a fluke bounce of the puck off someone's ass. I think that was intentional. With some luck. I mean, you got to be honest. I don't think
it was a set play, but it was instinctual. Like, it was a heads-up play by Lindholm to see him streaking and
I think he meant to do it. It's just like, let's just put it to you like this. The analogy I came up with, Maz. If you make a 25-foot putt, I mean, you hit it, it's a good putt, but there's luck in there. For the ball to go in from that distance, there's got to be some luck.
Absolutely.
So for the Lindholm, I mean, these guys do it all the time. It's not the first time you've seen that cross-corner dump. Like, it's a play. But, you
got to get a little luck.
You got to get a little luck for
sure.
They bound out just perfectly in time for Pasternak flying in there. I mean, I think it was a great deal of skill, but there is some luck involved when you're talking about that distance and that angle. But whatever, it wasn't pure luck. It wasn't pure off their ass. And I think Lindholm's game-tying goal was mostly all skill. I mean, he showed some poise there. He stopped with the puck on his stick. He picked a corner. He took a little bit off it to get it in just the right spot. I mean, those were two highly skilled. You know about elite hand-eye coordination from that big stiff Hampus Lindholm. Those are two incredible plays right there.
Unreal again, and the goal is obviously a huge part of it too. And I think, look, he identified the play properly too. Like, you can't totally minimize that. He saw it. He saw Pasternak wind up. He recognized there was space there. He knew how Toronto liked to defend. All of that stuff, and maybe some home ice advantage too. Who knows? Maybe he looks at it and says, hey, we know this rink. If you're firing into that corner, the puck comes out straight. Who knows? I don't know. I'm guessing. But he knew something. I'll take a shot, see if I can get a ricochet and get him the puck. And then the finish was, ice cream.
I mean, what a win. Oh, my God, did they need that win? Oh, God, they needed that win so bad.
That back-to-back years of blowing 3-1 leads, had they done that, that's a devastating stat.
Oh!
The
bloodbath and just the reputation, which becomes reality, it becomes your identity. It's just their identity is losers, jokers, can't get out of their own way. Like, that just becomes them. And again, let's see what happens here. Maybe we'll be saying this in 2 weeks, but oh my God, if they lose that game, you know what that is. It's like, oh, wow, did they need that one? That was massive. Massive. And it's almost like it's almost more of a relief than it is a joy. I'm still against overtime hockey, I'll tell you that. But it's more of a relief than it is a celebration. I don't know how you feel about it, but I think for the organization, it's like, oh my God, thank God.
No, they would have become the butt of, the butt of jokes in all of sports. Because again, that had never happened in the history of organized sports in this country. Of these big, that's insane.
It is. It's unbelievable.
It's like you become like a Munson. Oh, we pulled a Munson. Well, you pulled a Bruins. You went 3-1 back to back. You blew it again. You pulled a Bruins. That's their thing that they would have owned. That would have been horrible.
And it's bad enough, Murray, to do it once.
Back-to-back years?
No, that means you have a skill for it.
Yeah, right. It means that's who you are.
Exactly.
It's called Bruins.
That's who you are.
Yeah.
Exactly.
In your 100th celebration season, as we started to call it late last week, Murray, the what?
The Craptacular?
The Craptennial.
Oh, yeah, the Craptennial.
The Craptennial. It's like, in your 100th anniversary season, could you do something more typical of what you are, which is gag in the postseason? It's like a butt of the jokes, and it's like for 6 straight months, it's how you're defined with the first word out of your breath. And that goal gave you a reprieve, stay of execution, and okay. So that's not who you are for these next couple of weeks. You give them a puncher's chance against the Panthers?
Sure.
Of course.
Yeah.
I do too, yeah.
It's hockey. Yeah. And you know what? They played Florida well this year. Again, for what that's worth. Now, would I bet them? No. They better learn how to get the puck out of their own end because they're going to be under siege in this series.
A lot of problems. Florida is better than they were last year on paper. They added Tarasenko, and their goaltending situation is solid. Last year going in, it was a mess. You've gotten worse. Okay, well, with losing Bertuzzi, Hall, blah, 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 Orlov. And their play style is much more conducive to this time of year. Okay, so they got in it. They're better than they were last year. You're worse than you were last year. Their play style is how you want to play at this time of year. And yours is not. But I give a puncher's chance.
Of course. You never know what's going to happen. Play it out.
If you like that clip, check out more videos from Felger and Mazz here. For more Bruins analysis and opinion, hit this playlist. And for all the latest from the Sports Hub, download the app at 985thesportshub.com.